Yeah, overall, I like the game. 2-0 wins this time of year are important because 2-0 wins usually mean that there's a solid way from start to finish. Tonight, Colorado came out with a lot of energy. I thought it took a while for us to start to get a little more control. I thought the last 20 minutes of the first half were pretty strong, but the goal didn't come so easy. And so at halftime, there's a few points, but it's mainly about continuing in the right way, being a little more patient, being a little bit better in the box. And I think there's times where they had a lot of numbers in the box defensively, and we could have shot quicker instead of waiting and waiting. So there's a few details, but obviously the first goal by Lee is really good. And then overall, finished the game in a good way. Great second goal from Diego. I see that part of the progress. If I'm not mistaken, it's our first time all year where we had 2 shutouts in a row. And with all the things that get looked at to become a really good team, getting to the point where as we try to play our football and try to improve all the little details, that we're still eliminating some mistakes and starting to see some more shutouts. I think that's pretty important.
Bob, over here.
Yes.
You talk at training a lot about there's different stages to the season. Is this the playoff push stage? What part are we in? And secondly, about the shutouts, Tyler hasn't given up a goal since his little one-game benching. Did that get his attention, do you think, or is that just coincidence?
No, it wasn't a benching. It's technically you're right, but it's the point is that, look, Buba's working hard. Buba's a good goalkeeper, and it's the first time that Tyler's been playing that many games. Did it help him to step back for a game? Maybe, yeah, maybe. I think Zach Abdel continues to do a really good job with all the goalkeepers, so for me, we see the progress there. And it is the final part of the season. So, we got through that stretch of a lot of games and travel and obviously the disappointment of the Open Cup. And then you look and realize that there's this finish to the season. There's a lot to play for in terms of who can win the Western Conference. If you went on an incredible run, there's a lot of things still in sight. So 27 points still on the table. So for us, our ability to compete for 3 points every time out, continue to improve, and then do it again. And so with that in mind, as much as we feel good about these 2 games, away at the Galaxy, away at Toronto, those are big tests that now we don't want to be satisfied with anything at this point.
Coach, congratulations. It was a fantastic win. We had 2 in a row. My question is, Christian Ramirez is a tall center forward. Do you have any designs for the flanks for him to do a header more like he was last game? Do you have any designs for the flanks to pass cross for him to have more header to capitalize?
We want to cross in the air in the right moments, but not all the time. Crosses in the air too often. If it's not set up well, it too often turns the ball over. And so our ability to choose the right moments, make the right crosses. We certainly know that he's a player that has a way to free himself in the box. And so the option of playing the right ball in the air, again, it's not something that we do all the time, but I think in the right moments it's important. I remember the very good ball that Dio played for Carlos to score with his head. I think it was the first goal against the Galaxy. So, in terms of our attacking ideas, it's there. Maybe it's not first priority, but we need to know how to use Christian's strengths.
Coach, right here, Juan Rossi. I just want to talk a little bit about Edward Atuesta. Mm-hmm. He improved a lot, and I think you have a lot to do with his progress. So my question is, what are your thoughts from Edward Atuesta from the beginning of the season and Edward Atuesta right now?
He's improved a lot. He's a young player that, when he got here, still ran around the field too much. And so positionally, I think he's grown. Confidence has grown. We still continue to work so that in tight space, his ability to receive and connect the right passes, give the team control and tempo. It's a lot to ask of a young player, but I think the picture that we've tried to create for him of how he can really be important in our team, he understands. He's a very smart guy. And with all the players, we tried to have ideas on how we can help them get better. The bottom line is this, that you want your team to improve, but a lot of how the team improves is if within the coaching staff there's a good connection with individuals and there's a good picture of what each guy brings, and you try to help develop that picture all the time. And so Edward has done great with that. And look, it has, I say it all the time, it's not anything to do with age, because let's go back to Lee Wynn for a second. All right, I know you started with Edward, but Lee is still, on a night where he scores a great goal, the way he plays in the midfield, the way now he's added so many things to his game. There are moments in terms of how he receives and connects the next passes that fit well with the videos that we show over and over of Xavi and Iniesta, and so we're not acting like we're there yet, but when players develop a picture of what their football can look like, and then they know you're going to work with them every day to try to build on that, I think that's how oftentimes the team gets better.
Oh, Coach, first of all, congrats on the win. Oh, right here.
Got it. I'm looking everywhere into the lights.
So first of all,
thanks.
Congrats on the win. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from Diego Rossi within this last month? It wasn't too long ago he had a game where he brought you guys back against the Houston Dynamo. He had 3 goals in a game, and today he had that second goal in the second half. What have you seen from him, like in practice and the games leading up to today?
On this last stretch, he's been awesome. So, he had a little period there where I think it dipped a little bit, and we talked to him and challenged him. He responded really well. And, in this last stretch of games, his confidence, the mixing of passes and running with the ball, it's great to see. So he's in a really good run lately, and now we just have to keep pushing him forward because he's talented. For a young player, he brings so much to our team. He's fun to watch. I think people leave the stadium saying, if they haven't come before, that's a player they want to come back and watch again. So that's a big compliment.
Bob here. Your back line seemed to really show up today. Steven Beitashour was terrific, especially made a couple offensive plays that opened you guys up. And then Laurent Simon and Silva seemed to be playing well again. Just a little bit on their game. And Simon in particular, when he faced that 2-on-1 that Colorado had, seemed like they were in a really advantageous position. He played that well. Just if you can talk about that as well, please.
The understanding between center backs is key to a team. And if you are a team that tries to go forward, tries to create chances, tries to play high up the field, then there are going to be moments. You hope not many in any game, but there are going to be moments where you've got to be able to deal with emergency situations. And so Laurent handled that one really well. I think there was one later in the game where Danilo's recovery was fantastic. The work every week with center backs, with Dejan, with Walker, with Tristan at times, because we use him as a right back and a center back, with now Danilo, Laurent, develop an understanding, trying to get the idea that when we attack, that we are organized and we are pushed up the field. I thought in the last 20 minutes of the first half, at times when we lost the ball, we were positioned really well to pressure and win the ball back quickly. And that's a big challenge for center backs, because in order to do that, you're trying to get them pushed up the field and onto people, and not just laying back at midfield and backing up when the ball turns over. And so I thought there were a lot of good stretches where we were able to do that.
Coach, two parts of the question. First of all, Ramirez, after acquiring him, you started pretty much playing him right away, even having a lot of good strikers. So what do you think he gives you extra as a striker? And the second part is with Marco Urena. He wasn't on the bench last two games. Is it a fitness, health, or just competition?
Yeah, I mean, we have real competition for strikers. And so with 18, most likely you're not putting three of them in the 18 because it leaves you weak somewhere else. But all three are training well. Christian, having just arrived, his movement, his ability to find space in the box. We talked about it a lot after the last game because he scored 2 goals. The first goal was really special. Dio is back after having a little period where his hamstring was tight. I thought he came on the field and still did a lot of good things. And we all remember, some of the important things he's done to help us win games. Marcos works hard, makes runs. So 3 different kind of strikers, and obviously the competition makes decisions difficult. And it's not always easy on them, but they still support each other, and that part really is important for the team.
Last question there.
Hello, Coach. The question is Marco Urena, his injury or his technical decision is don't play?
It's competition, and so right now it's hard to put three number 9s in the 18. And so tonight, coming off the game against Salt Lake, Christian was the choice for the starter, and then Adamo Diamande, back from a period where his hamstring was a little tight, was the choice to be the second striker tonight, and I thought that both did well.